Hi, this is Tapcat. Welcome to Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. I'm going to go ahead and start up a new game, and then I won't start talking until after the opening scene plays out.
Holmes! Holmes, will you stop that? You are utterly mad. Stop, Holmes!
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone, then.
All right, so let me open our casebook. We're supposed to investigate the murder of Peter Carey, inspect the crime scene at Woodman's Lee, and select a suit to wear using your personal wardrobe. Fair enough. So I am guessing, or deducing, we must have a bedroom, yes? I believe Watson came out of the other room. Yep. So our clothing would be somewhere in here. Is it in the chest? Doesn't look like I can interact with that. So this would be the logical spot. Yep, it's a wardrobe. A morning gown. Oh, I see. So sailor outfit, unbuttoned suit. Casual suit. We'll do that. We'll go dressed to make a good impression. B to go to the makeup table. Really? Do I need makeup? Oof. That was not an improvement. There's a lot of lag between when I click and when it goes. Okay, so far I'm not really finding... Like, that one's actually not too bad, but most of these I think are pretty terrible. Alright, there we go. That is kind of classic Sherlock Holmes. What do we got going here? I think I'll skip the glasses. Facial hair, I also don't think I really see. So we'll skip that too. Actually, I'll be honest, he looks pretty dorky with that. So even though that is kind of classic Holmes, maybe we'll just go with a more natural look. All right. Now, I think we're actually ready to go. Now, just out of curiosity, if I click tab, now I wondered if this would have a little check mark next to it. It doesn't look like it. Even though we picked our suit. Letters to examine.
This
Okay.
is where I keep my post. This is where I keep my post.
Okay, how do I examine it? Because the left mouse is not
This is where I keep my
doing the
post.
trick. Nor is that. Yeah, I actually don't know. Okay, sorry. I thought his talent. Yeah, it's just not working.
This is where I keep my post.
Okay, well, I tell you what. We're going to leave the post. Let's talk to Mrs. Hudson.
Oh, what a mess! What a terrible mess!
That was not very informative, Mrs. Watson. I'm sorry. This is Watson. I should have said Mrs. Hudson. All right, let's see if Watson has
You go
anything to
along to
say.
Peter Carey's house. Mrs. Hudson and I will take care of the mess you've made here.
He's all pissed. All right, we'll go. I mean, in fairness, that was a really stupid thing to do. Let's go to Woodman's Lee. But when Holmes is not on a case, he does stupid things.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Very well. No need to get pissy. All right, wait. Actually, I think it makes more sense to go this way. Let's examine the
It
garden.
seems that the garden was well maintained.
All right, so I've never played one of these games before. It does seem that you just want to keep your eye out for literally anything and examine it, right? At least that's part of what you want to do.
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Okay. Well, we noticed that the garden was well maintained. We can ask about that.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
All right.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
What's this about? So we're looking for anything that would, okay, yeah, so when we go over the brooch, it lights up. Let's ask about that. Or zoom in on it. Cameo, okay. What's this about? Birdhouse. Gardening gloves. Okay. Crested tit. I assume that is a type of bird. And not some obscene reference to anatomy. Catholic rosary. Okay.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Okay.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Okay, did he have any visitors?
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh, my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Oh, I didn't. Yep, I didn't mean to click that, actually.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh, my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Never mind. You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh, my goodness, but how do you know about that?
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Thank you, madam.
So what did we really learn from that? She was not particularly happy. She is religious. They have a well-kept garden. Now, this is interesting because it says a capable gardener works here, but she said her husband did it. And then, let's see, he was born in 1845, achieved great success. Okay. I'm not sure how any of that gets us closer to solving the murder. Let's see if... Wait, where'd the inspector go? Crap. He probably said... Let's see if there's anything over here. Not that's showing up. Okay, well, let's go over here. See what this guy's got to say for himself.
Mr. Holmes?
Not a lot, as it turns out. And you're kidding me. I can't even go through the stupid door?
Mr. Holmes?
Wow. Okay. Well, that's very limiting. I see. So the crime scene is down there. I thought if that guy was guarding it, I just want to make sure there's nothing going on over here. Because with Holmes, you never know what detail might appear important to him that we ordinary mortals would miss. But in fact, there is nothing. So we'll go down. And I can run, so I will. What's this guy doing? What's this about? There's footprints.
These footprints appear to be quite large.
Okay.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
We already got that, my friend.
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
All right. Well, I guess that's my cue.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see.
Door lock, yes. Scratches.
These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
So someone who is certainly not a trained burglar tried to get in here. Presumably it's not the wife, because I would think she'd have a key.
What a terrible way to die.
Yeah, there's not that many good ones, though. All right, I see the talent icon, so we're going to see what there is to see. A suspiciously empty shape, space, and an outline in the
This
dust.
place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps.
All right. What else?
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain.
All right. I don't think that's going to be too useful.
Harpoons for hunting whales.
Let's look in there.
Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8.
So the footprints outside were supposed to be very large, and I don't think a size 8 would make that.
Old navigation instruments. Nothing interesting.
So presumably our murderer is a big-footed individual. Sasquatch did it. We solved it in record time.
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
All right. Anything the body can tell us?
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense.
See, Sasquatch is really strong.
Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon.
Rotate the object in any direction.
JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook.
Huh, so I was assuming this would be Carey's, but that certainly is not the case.
The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey.
What?
These abbreviations mean something, but what?
That's a really good question.
This wooden handle is plain and solid. This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed.
Yeah. Bringing a knife to a harpoon fight is kind of rough. Okay, so this is the deduction space. The icon was telling me we were able to do that. So I think I'm supposed to link two of these together. And that will give me some sort of deduction. So what do these mean? Break-in attempts, notebook, pinned to the wall, and no gardener. Judith Carey, that does not sound feasible. She might be hiding something. Okay, I think the person is trying to recover the notebook. So we're going to say break-in attempts plus notebook. And what does that mean? How does this work? What is it doing? An ambush must be made tonight to see. Okay. I'll be honest, though. I don't really understand what just happened.
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
Okay. We already knew that, so I assume that's him saying his deduction. I'm going to back out, but I just want to see what shows up. Yeah, so I guess because we made that deduction, we're supposed to come back tonight. And that's when we'll do our ambush. All right, let's let me hit escape. Is there anything else? Yeah, there is, actually.
Someone drank from this glass recently. Someone drank from this glass recently.
So there's two glasses. That suggests that he knew the person who killed him. That he was drinking with them. So this was the victims.
The initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work.
Fair enough. Anything on the other side? Really? Are you not going to look in? Come on now. There has to be a way to see the contents. Can I do this? There we go.
This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
Rotate and move the elements to form a clear picture of aromatic associations. Holy crap. Seriously? Wow, this is trippy. Okay. That's getting kind of close. See, like this down here is looking really good, but then the top just becomes a complete mess. I am so freaking confused by what I'm supposed to do right now. Okay, so we see the pipe. Oh, I can move that separately.
Yes.
Got it.
This is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
Wow. I went through all of that to be told that it's popular among sailors.
Rum, a sailor's drink. It seemed that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
All right, our inspection is completed. I think that's the game's not so subtle way of telling me I don't need to waste any more time in here.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
Well, that sounds like an excellent plan, and if you want to see how it turns out, then come back for part 2. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. I hope we see you next time.